When you look at the money that you've raised with the Polar Plunge, what has stood out to you with the experience of doing it yourself? I mean, I watched it. That was enough for me. I just watching people. It was freezing outside. Ladies and gentlemen, I will say this. I was walking on the beach. Me and my friends, they gave us these COVID face masks with the Polar Plunge symbol on it, or the Challenger Athletics symbol on it. And we all walked out on the beach, and they all just undress. And all of a sudden they count down 10. I'm standing there. I'm freezing my kahunas off. All of a sudden they're all gunning on the beach. I was just absolutely enamored by what I was watching. And to me, I was happy to be there. I was happy about experience that. And I was listening to my friend Justin, and Justin is such a you-know-what. I'm not going to say it on live radio because he is a full-grown ladybug, okay? That's what I'm going to call him. He is a ladybug. Justin Booker is a ladybug, okay? So if you want me to compare him to an insect, that's what I compare Justin Booker to. A ladybug. He's watching his workers, his young ladies that he is a boss of, okay? He's a director of a facility, a nursing facility, and he's watching his workers jump in the water, and he's standing there looking like he's like Mr. Don Juan, and he's an absolute ladybug, guys. I'm going to say it on live radio. I don't care what he says. I was laughing at him. I'm watching. He's like, I'm on your side. I'm on your side. You got the kahunas. He's coaching them. I'm like, dude, you're the guy here. Why aren't you going in the water? I mean, it was embarrassing.
Ray, I wanted to ask you something quick in regards to with COVID and everything like that, how it has affected everything this year and all businesses and everything like that. You said the popularity still is in demand for you guys. I'm guessing clearly it hasn't affected you so much. Obviously, there's certain sports you can and can't do. Because I'm a gym teacher at an elementary school, and I can tell you firsthand that it's difficult with COVID this year and everything has changed. What's it been like trying to change things around and kind of making it, like you said, with yoga and everything like that? I'm guessing you're using Zoom and all those programs as well. It must be a difficult challenge this year for sure.
Well, it was definitely hard. Lacrosse and soccer were our first programs that we started when COVID first hit. And we tried to do online lacrosse camps, just really exercising, teaching the athletes how to use a stick and stuff like that. It just doesn't translate well. Yoga translates beautifully.
Yes.
And for that reason, we switched yoga to pretty much all year around. And that's been helpful. This year, we're hopeful that we're going to be able to get on the field. And I think after a year of being off, parents are ready to, they're itching to get out and running and having their children run now. We tried to pull off tennis this year, and some of our volunteers just, still aren't comfortable going out and, because we work, we typically have a volunteer with every athlete. And it's very hard for them to do that right now. So, and as you said, as a gym teacher, you see it firsthand. Yeah. No one is ready to push the envelope, and rightfully so at this point. But we are ready to, once we get the okay, we are ready to go full bore and get these kids outside and running around and meeting new friends. Because, I'm hoping, events like this, conversations like this, kicks off a whole nother round of, group of people knowing who we are and what we're offering.
We are talking to the founder of the Challenger Athletics, Ray Samson. I will say this, and you told me you're a big sports fan, so I said I'm a sports fan. You put the adjective in front. Hey, listen. This guy over here, my partner in crime, Josh Silverberg, thinks he knows everything about sports. He really, really does.
Actually, he said to me, if I remember correctly, Earl, was that he knew nothing about sports, and we're going to show him.
I'm not surprised he said that. Of course, he said that behind my back.
Hold on 1 second. So you're telling me I talk behind your back? Is that what you're saying?
Go ahead. See, now we get into this conversation now.
That's what you said. I'm not talking behind your back. I just said you don't know anything. But
such rage. You see what I deal with? Such pettiness. It's such pettiness from like a man-child. It's ridiculous.
Well, I love the way he pointed out Justin didn't get wet. But to be honest, Errol didn't either.
No, I didn't. But I didn't have any plans that I didn't even know where I was going. He didn't even tell me until he told me when I got there. I said, "What are they doing?" They said they're running out on the beach and they're running into the water. I said, they do realize it's 30 degrees outside.
See, that happened in college. When I was in college, when I worked, there was at the school magazine that I worked for. I went to the Polar Plunge up in Plattsburgh, New York. So you think about that, right by Montreal, Canada, what it was way, I'm sure, way worse than what it was last weekend. That's for sure, probably.
It was freezing. It was.
That's what I'm saying.
Very windy out too, by the way.
You were in the midst of you. Yeah, but Errol was in the midst of insulting me.
I was in the plunge. I'm going to go off that, okay? Because we don't have the time to mess around with you on this interview. But so obviously you're a Met fan. What have you thought about the New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau as he's taken over as the head coach? I
am not a big basketball fan. My son, if he was here, he would love to talk about that. I think in many ways, other than the Yankees, a lot of the Mets organizations can benefit for someone like that, which has happened with the Mets, especially my Jets. You spoke about the Jets. You brought up the Jets. So you're not a basketball fan. So what do you think the Jets need to do in the offseason to make them a playoff contender? They have a lot of money. They got between $98 and $90 million this offseason. They could spend a lot of money, and they got a load of draft stock. So if you were the GM of the team, which you're not, Joe Douglas is, by the way. I'm not?
No. I mean, if I was,
really?
I'll do this.
If I was, I need a hope and a prayer.
I thought this whole thing was about you announcing that I got the job. Okay.
Well, if you got the job, could I have a job?
Can you imagine Errol telling Quentin Williams to go line up on the line of scrimmage? Knock him out.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please go up on the line?
Yes.
What was that Joe Pesci movie when he was like he's the super? It was called The Super, and he would look up, and he played basketball, and he called him the mailman or something. You look up. That's what I'd be looking with Quentin Williams.
Oh, okay, I know.
Super. You never seen that? It was a 90s.
I never saw it before, but I know which movie you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it.
Joe Pesci. But
back to what the Jets need to do.
Yes, right. Well, what do you think the Jets need to do?
A lot.
That's the problem. They have a lot of holes to fix. I don't think, I think it's going to come down to who they decide the head coach is, and it's going to flow from there. I think if you go with an offensive mind or a defensive mind, you're focusing too much on just one side of the ball. I think you need someone that's going to be an overseer of the whole thing, and they're going to need to have the freedom to do what they need to do. I am not totally sold against Darnold right now. I think, if you look at Tannehill, he turned his game around. I think the skills that are there. So you may not have to spend that, you may not have to go anywhere with him. And you're going to have to strengthen the line a little bit more. Definitely some receivers. They're going to need that. And, maybe some help in the backfield on the defense.
Oh, your dog is starting to call you, man. I think he's saying it was over.
He's barking. She's barking at my son, who actually knows basketball, as he peeks his head in here.
Oh, there you go. I mean, let me tell you something, Ray. I really appreciate you joining us. I really love what you're doing right now for the community here in Long Island, Nassau, Suffolk County, even in the I guess you can say the New York Harbor with the polar plunge. But tell the fans how they can find you on social media, how they can find you on the internet, so they can actually donate some money with with some of the things and some of the opportunities that they can to join some of the events that you do.
We are on the internet. Our URL is challengersports.org. To get us to our website, you can get a lot of our information there. We are on Facebook, Twitter, well, mostly Facebook and Instagram under Challenger Athletics.
Well, that is Ray Samson. Ray, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And I would love to come with the network, maybe do a live show at one of your events and interview some of the kids, have them have the chance to come on live radio and talk about some of the experiences they had with your organization.
Well, if we kick off this spring, we're trying to get you down for some lacrosse, but definitely we'd love to have you guys down at the surf camp. That's an amazing event. Surf camp, we have 100 athletes going in the water throughout the day. On the beach, we typically have hundreds of volunteers, just keeping them safe and surfing with them. So we would love to have you guys anytime you want to come down.
I would love. Give me a water cam, Ray. I want a water camera. We'll film me while I'm doing the show while I'm surfing.
Sir,
I'm telling you,
I get eaten by a shark. Okay?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. Both my wife and I are both gonna say we're ready. Let's go. What do you want?
Oh my God, this is gonna be fun to watch. Actually, yes, I want to see you surf.
I'm telling you, give me a water camera. I'll do the show while I'm doing the surfing. It'll be great. Ray, seriously, man, thank you so much for what you're doing. You're doing a wonderful thing. Seriously.
Great, guys. Thank you very much for having me. And Errol, looking forward to seeing you a little more often, man.
Absolutely. I'm just not plunging. I am definitely not plunging.
We'll get you in one. We'll get you in 1 year.
No Speedy in the water.
I'm gonna have to lose a big bet. Speedy's easy, man. We'll just tell him there's like ices in the water or something like that. He'll dip his head in the water.
All right, guys. Thanks.